2.5 grand later, and then... Hey, what's going on?
It's mine, Daddy. Noah keeps taking away from me.
Noah, give it back.
No.
Noah, give it back.
No.
I said give it back now. Noah!
Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 928, directed by Katsumi Tokoro and supervised by Kazuya Hisada. After last week's episode was a tad bit disappointing, the all-out ballroom blitz that follows it should be as solid as it's made out to be. Hisada's very angular art full of boxy faces looks quite solid all things considered, with his snappy yet dynamic animation promising to fill the episode with a whole lot of pizzazz. Standing right alongside yet another contribution from Katsumi Ishizuka just a few weeks after his last one. Tokoro's episodes tend to usually exude a rather grandiose feeling no matter how rough, so can 928 close off this banquet with a shocking finale with everything it has going for it? Well, let's unsheath the sword to find out. This episode covers the remainder of chapter 933, and while it's packed to the brim with continuity filler that helps bridge the gap and make characters seem more competent, the overall pacing is rather slow, which kills a lot of the sense of chaos, and the direction is kinda spotty, executing big moments quite well but feeling rather bland in others, sort of repeating the same issues that I had with Ito's direction last week, where it feels like there's some disconnect between the super colorful, well-directed moments and the rest of the episode, with the rather snail's pace pacing not really helping much at all either. They tried to pad the episode out a bit with some filler content that in of itself still carries on the motto of all the other filler in this arc, but they don't really feel all that connected to the rest of the episode due to a lack of any interesting transitions. Overall, I'd say that I prefer this week's episode directorially when put up against what last week had to offer, as the really well-directed bits here and there feel a lot stronger than Ito's highest highs, but it sadly seems to have some of the same issues as 927, which is sadly not what I was expecting from a seasoned director like Tokoro. While Tokoro's directorial efforts are certainly lacking, I'm happy to say that his storyboard is still as solid as ever, as Orochi's castle feels just as spacious and large as it needs to be for such a large gathering, which also helps the really impactful moments like Komurasaki's death hit like a sledgehammer. Despite the few instances of repeated shots and the fact that the Udon filler and Big Mom cliffhanger that follow the main events feel a bit lacking in comparison to the rest of the content. While it's definitely not the strongest display that we've seen in terms of Orochi's banquet, as I still think 926 had a lot more to offer and was more vivid than I expected it to be, 928's board more than does the job, and is far more readable in comparison to the storyboard that preceded it. Kazuya Hisada's very angular and boxy style that's around every corner is certainly not for everyone, but you surely can't deny just how polished it is and how much it really brings to the table with an episode like this, with several small but dynamically animated scenes that act as eye candy all throughout, and serve as the companion piece for the major animation highlight here, with Katsumi Ishizuka's cut of Kyoshiro killing Komurasaki. While nowhere near as intensive as some of his other Wano work due to just being on an action episode, Ishizuka's smears as Kyoshiro gets ready to attack are just so blobby and breathe life to a simple raising of a sword. And his excellent line work and modern effects help follow them up by adding some visual flair to a rather simple scene, impressively drawing all of Komurasaki's complicated hair pieces for several frames as she falls down, working in tandem with Hisada's animation to make this a well-animated episode all in all, even with some of the episode episode's issues being quite glaring. Episode 928 is definitely a better overall package than 927 was, due to a better storyboard and higher highs in terms of direction and animation, but it's not quite the leap in quality that I expected it to be in comparison. Finishing off the adaptation of Orochi's Banquet on a low note for me personally. Next week though, it seems as if we'll be in for a bit of a treat with a rather star-studded episode with episode 929. With supervisors Eisaku Inoue and Hirotaka Ito looking massively on point for a dialogue episode, and co-series director Kohei Kureta's board exuding that premium energy that we would expect from someone of his stature. As long as the usually solid Yasunori Koyama can properly execute the board with his Komaki-like sense of atmosphere and color and compositing choices, it should be quite the well-done episode despite the source material. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and Hisada's big mom is quite the terrifying sight.